What's up, guys? Tugi here, back again, and in this episode, we continue going through the offseason to set this team up for Season 6. In the last episode, we had a pretty decent draft aside from one pick. But overall, I mean, definitely not as good as like the previous year, with Isaac Lutzer and some other people. But overall, a pretty solid draft, and like I said, now we look to set this team up for the future. Joonas Korpisalo needs a new deal. We signed him to a hell of a deal after his first contract expired. And the question is, how cheap can I get him for moving forward? And it looks like a 3-year deal. I'm going to try for 3 years at $8 million, which you get what you pay for. He's proved himself. Now, I don't think... Actually, Reimer's... It shows him as a starter. He's not even looking for that much. We do need to sign Kozanov, although it's not looking like Kozanov's going to eventually make the NHL. Helmersson's fine. I might re-sign Reimer. I wasn't planning on it, but that might become a part of the plan. David Savard, our captain, needs a new deal. The more term, the better as far as contract goes. I don't think I want him past 35, though. So I'm going to try 5 years at 5.5. Like, he is an elite top 4 defenseman. Like, an 89 overall is pretty much as high as you can get for a top 4 defenseman. Chychrun needs his first big boy deal as well, which could be a bit of a problem. What do you think, 3 years? Yeah, let's try 5 years. We'll try 5 years at 5.2. I'm going the wrong way. We'll try 5 years at 5.25 and see if he accepts. And then that top 4 is locked up, although Seth Jones needs a new contract next year, which could be a problem. Julius Bergman, we will look... Ew. That's not good. Bergman's jumped up to top 4. That's not good, because I don't think we can afford that. Ralph Jarrett will probably resign. I can let go of Love and Corrado. But if we look at the defense, I mean, we'll re-sign Ralph Jarrett. I mean, he earned it. He absolutely earned it. I'll look to bring him on for 2 more years. I don't want to have him on for too long because I really don't think he's going to get any better than that, and he might just end up being traded. Julius Bergman, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to see what we can do there. Brassard, 7th D, 72 overall at 22. We are going to let him go. I'd rather give ice time to someone else in Cleveland. Smart. Let's see. What was your first name? It's Jonathan Smart. 64 overall at 22. You're not going to make the NHL, so I'm sorry. We're going to have to let go of you. And who do we have here? Hayden Davis, a 5th-round pick from 2019. He's not going to make the cut, nor is Nick Watson, who is a 6th-round pick. So this is what I was talking about in the last episode. We might not have had the best draft, but players like this who just aren't going to make the cut and that we aren't going to sign are eventually going to go out the door, and then they can kind of take their place. Dmytro Timashov needs a new deal. I'm going to wait just a minute to see who else is there. Kygorodov needs a new deal. He is absolutely being re-signed. The question is for how much and for how long, and the answer to that doesn't appear to be for too long. I'm actually only going to sign him to a 1-year deal for now because I want to play it safe with the money just to make sure we can bring people back that I want to bring back. Vitaly Abramov needs a new deal. I'll try 3 years at 1.8 and we'll see if that works. Robert Holmes, a 5th-round pick from 2019. He's not going to make the cut. We'll let him go. We will let him go. Same thing here with Ethan McIndo. 6th-round pick from that 2019 draft, man. Not too many hits in those later rounds. We will let go of him as well. And then the centers, we are actually good to go. So that's a good sign. So for the moment, the only people we haven't offered deals to are Timashov, Bergman, and Reimer. So I want to take a look and see who else accepts here. Now we have 20 million. That's going to go super quick. Like, super quick. So that's why I'm trying to be a bit conservative here. with some of the money we are handing out. David Savard, our captain, is back. Yunus Korpisalo is back. Kai Gorodov, Chychrun, Abramov has to decline. Ralph Jarrett, Kozanov are back. That is what I was worried about. Is out of nowhere, once I realized what some of these guys were asking for, was that we could be in some pretty big trouble, and indeed we are. We are going to have to figure something else out here, because we are in danger of not being able to re-sign people. Vitaly Abramov is one of them. Timashov was the other. Actually, yeah, that's right. Abramov had to decline. Abramov, Timashov, Bergman, and Reimer. And guys, the unfortunate thing is you're not allowed to trade right now, so we have to let go of James Reimer. Can we qualify Bergman? Yes, we can. So we qualified Bergman. We're going to qualify Timashov, and we're going to qualify Vitaly Abramov. And then once free agency starts, we're going to have to get rid of some people to be able to re-sign those guys, or maybe they themselves will be going. But we're definitely going to need a new backup goalie with Reimer being forced to hit the market. So as I said, changes would have to be made. We knew that. I just didn't expect them to be this drastic. But we'll see what we can do with this team. But Savard, Korpisalo, those big names are still in place. I do think I'm going to have to trade Julius Bergman as well. But quickly before I get into making any trades, take a look at free agency and see the big fishes out there. It is Mantha, Johansson, Derek Stepan, Kosmachuk. So some pretty big names out there. It'd be great if Bergman would just get qualified offered, really, as I hit the wrong button. I wanted to look at goalies on the markets. Reimer, Jake Allen, Garrett Sparks is out there. Ty Edmonds, that's a name from the past. So we definitely have to get onto the backup train early, although it might be like last year and the year before where we just end up picking somebody up. As far as prospects go, there is a decent one here. There is a pretty decent one. Cesar Langlois. Pretty sure I didn't pronounce that right. But he is there, and he would be a decent option, as would Jordy, Jesus. He's not from Newcastle. Gordie Joslin, as in Gordie Howe. And other than that, I mean, we could aim for one of those two guys. And then looking at skaters and their potentials, any decent prospects. Hayden Fleury is a restricted free agent, and he wouldn't be ideal. Is there anybody younger than 23 as a prospect? Right here, Kallio. Thomas Kallio. Looks like he would be the best option. Dahlman's also available. Alvin Dahlman, 84 overall, 21 years old. So we have some decent options. But like I said, I need to go forward and make a trade or potentially several. So let's see what happens there. Much like last year, we are able to get a second-round pick. We're going to cut ties with Julius Bergman for now. I don't know for sure who will get to replace him on that third pairing, but it was Bergman or Savard, and I'm really happy with our captain, David Savard. So we send him to Vancouver, who we know is a bad team, and we're not likely to match up with them in the Stanley Cup Final anytime soon. We get a second and a sixth from them for Bergman. Dmytro Timashov, again, rather than trading someone else and trying to resign him, I think the top six is set in stone. So we're going to capitalize on him now, sending him to San Jose for a ton of picks this year, highlighted by their second round pick. Now guys, obviously those two trades do not help us in terms of the cap space situation, but really the only person we could trade right now to solve that issue is Michael Dal Colle, and I want to hold off on that. So what we're going to do for now is, first off, we're getting a backup goalie, and that guy is going to be Ty Edmonds. Now, he is technically a prospect, but he falls under AHL starter potential, so we can sign him and not have to worry about it. And it also looks like he is still looking for his entry-level deal, so we can just offer him max money, and then we'd have a 24-year-old, 83 overall backup in the meantime. And of course, if he starts to struggle, we could get rid of him if need be. Now, if we were to sign Langlois, he would be the only goalie He would actually be the only player we would be allowed to sign. If we went with Gordy Jocelyn, we would be allowed to sign one other player. So that's kind of my dilemma right now. I don't think I want to go with Langlois just because we don't really need him. I don't really think we need either goalie. Right now, the AHL is looking pretty good, and we have Korpisalo at the top. So I don't think it is too big of an issue, which means I'm probably going to go after two of the top 9 players that we have available, and there are quite a few, as you can tell, that would be a decent signing. Sundstrom at 21 and a 72. He's actually overtaken by Loktionov, who's a 75 at 21 years old. And I'd probably go with him over anybody else. Let's see, who else was here? We wouldn't go with him. We'd go with Dahlman for sure. And if we were to sign, actually, man, signing Dahlman would be a great idea. You know what? He's going to be the first guy we offer a contract to. He'd be perfect because then we could trade away somebody if we needed to. Look at his offensive category. That is unbelievable. So yeah, we are definitely looking to get Dahlman, who is yet to be signed to his entry-level deal. So again, we could really take advantage of the fact that these guys haven't been signed so far in their career. Why Nashville is letting him go, I do not know. And then we have Kallio at 20 is a 76 overall. And I think he was the other big one. Yeah, he was. So we will look to sign Kallio and Dahlman, and just hopefully we can not really overspend, but outpay, and just really throw that money around the little bit that we have. And the good news is signing these 3 guys wouldn't be, it wouldn't affect our cap space because they'd technically be sent right down to Cleveland. So let's go ahead and see, now that we've cut ties with Bergman and Timashov for now, can we get these 3 guys in here? If we can, that would be huge. Alvin Dahlman, perhaps the most important, has signed. Thomas Kallio has signed, and Ty Edmonds has signed. So that is huge, because that space now, we have 3, we have a solid prospect, someone who's going to make the NHL lineup, and a new backup goalie for entry-level money. That is perfect. And really, this free agency period couldn't have gone any better, because now I can sim forward, see really who needs to go, and then trade, and then pick up whoever we need to. So yeah, we're not going to be able to go and fight for the Manthas or the Ryan Johanssons, but I think we're still in a good spot. So let's sim forward to the start of the next season, and I will give you guys a look at what this team will be. Good news, guys, as well. Out of nowhere, Vitaly Abramov accepted our qualifying offer. I honestly forgot that I sent him one, so it's a good thing he accepted because I almost forgot about him. Now, this isn't exactly a deal that I wanted to make, but my hands are tied due to the cap. Somebody had to go, and because of his performance in the playoffs, and not necessarily his performance in the playoffs, but because of Matt Duchene's performance in the playoffs, I'm siding with Matt Duchene over Michael Dal Colle. We send Dal Colle 2 6th and a 7th to Vancouver, another deal with Vancouver, for defenseman Jerry Girardi, who is kind of in the Darnell Nurse situation. He's 23, he's an 83 overall defenseman on a decent contract with low elite potential, so I don't expect him to be amazing, but he'll fit in where we need him. We also get a 2nd-round pick. So Michael Dal Colle is the newest Vancouver Canuck, and Jerry Girardi is now a Quebec City Nordique. We have another trade, and again, it's not one I wanted to make, but it's a good sign in a way that we have to move someone like Nick Kurdiles out. We also get rid of a ton of 5th and 6th just to clear up space. We send all of that to Nashville for their 2nd-round pick this year. Didn't want to see Kurdiles go. Good player on a good contract, but we had to make another move. He's the odd man out. You guys know the deal. This is another trade where just players are the odd men out. We get a handful of picks from Minnesota over the next 2 years for Larry Blake, 70 potential. I don't think he's going to make it. DeLuca, who is out because Craig Lowry, despite being 19 and from the CHL, is allowed to be on Cleveland apparently. And then Zacharias, again, the odd man out, just like DeLuca on that left-hand side. And what should be our final trade, and this might be the most bittersweet, which is saying something because we, of course, traded Michael Delcall. It's Alan Lyjarjak, and Morrow to Minnesota for a handful of draft picks. Bottom line is, if we were to play them, they would either have to be top line and taking minutes away from better prospects, or bottom pairing if not scratched, and that's just not worth their time, and we wouldn't get the most out of them anyway. So we're going to let them go. They're both off to Minnesota. As this episode comes to a close, it is time to show you what the Season 6 Nordiques and Cleveland Monsters will look like. Now, I'll mention this too. As far as the arena goes, like I said, because everything degrades so quickly and I don't have the money to keep up with everything, I've taken a different strategy. Everything you see being upgraded right here is going to be 5-star at the end of this season. This is already 5-star concessions and it's being repaired. After that, we can start working on club seats, getting that to 5-star, and then just keeping everything repaired. I don't have the money for executive suites and bathrooms to repair it. So basically, you're going to be seeing those pop-ups a lot. You know, it's going to constantly have like the red numbers down below because I don't have the money to repair it, but I'm just trying a different strategy for now, trying to get everything to 5-star, and then we'll work on repairing it. Because like I said, it's just a massive issue. I just wanted to get that out of the way for those who were still confused on that. As we get a look at this team, obviously there were some pretty big hits, but you will see why. Top line, of course, is going to be Tkachuk, Duchesne, and Patrick Laine. Laine's still only 23 years old. Second line to start is going to be Nikolai Ehlers with Isaac Lutzer, now an 89 at 21 years old, listed as a second line forward. So I'm good to keep him there. And Puljujärvi. Puljujärvi has taken a hit because of the Delcall and Bergman trades, as have a couple of other people, as you see here. Kurdiles, Delcall, Bergman, and Reimer being released. So just remember that about some of these overall. Some of them are a little bit better. Alvin Dahlman, who we just signed as an 85 overall, already a second line forward, so it kind of sucks that we have to keep him on the third line. He is with Gabe Vilardi. Gabe Vilardi is the big reason why Delcall is gone. We're giving him a chance to shine. He is actually an 83 overall, as you get a look at the morale. And Stan Kaigorodov, still a second line forward. We will have him on the third line again. It's a bit of a logjam, man. Ehlers, Dahlman, Puljujärvi, Kaigorodov. We could easily get rid of 2 out of 4. We easily could. And then the fourth line, Vitaly Abramov is, of course, here. Tarasov is a third line guy that we have on the fourth line currently. And then it came down to Kurdiles or Stenlund. And I went with Kevin Stenlund. Maybe right or wrong. But I went with Kevin Stenlund, and that way he's between 2 snipers for now. But that's where the team stands offensively. We have second line guys on the third line guys on the fourth line. It's a very deep team. We could easily, like I said, get rid of some people. But you guys did say at the start, you did vote to not really pay too much attention to player roles unless it really started being an issue. So we can roll with this for now until we see it becoming an issue. Defense, we're still good. That top 4 is intact. Ralph Jarrett's still here, and he is with Jerry Girardi, who, of course, is actually an 83 overall. And we will see what Girardi can do this season with Ralph Jarrett. A very interesting defense. And, of course, the goaltending, Korpisalo, 91, and then Ty Edmonds, an 84. We've had him in our series before. We will see what he can do. But to get a backup on an entry-level deal at an 84 overall is pretty damn insane. And I did go out and I made 3 extra signings. Now you guys know I like to do this with the Islanders series, and I'm doing it again here. We have a depth right-handed defenseman with Adam McQuaid for 1 year, a depth left-handed defenseman in Xavier Ouellet, and Zach Hyman makes his return to QC as the backup forward in case of injury. Because as you see here with Cleveland, we don't exactly have the highest overall guys down in Cleveland. Now our top line of Ryan Peters, Matthias Rodin, and Cole Lind are all at least top 6. Cole Lind at low top 6 now at 22 years old. So make or break season for Cole Lind. Second line is Evan Tambellini, Thomas Kallio, who we of course just signed, and J.C. Donovan. Third line is Nick Ralston with Philip Krivicic and Zach Matthews. The fourth line is Wes McDonald, Brock Keeler, who we just signed, and Gord Henry. The defense is looking pretty good. As I said, Craig Lowry is there with Cale Fleury, a make-or-break season for him as well. Ivan Voinov is with Henry Jokiharju, and Tommy Hedberg with Vaclav Stefan. The goaltending, best lines puts Helmerson there, 22, low fringe starter. Same overall as the 23 starter potential, Sergei Kozanov, who we will roll with to start. So I feel like both teams are in a pretty good place. It's just a matter of how, with the NHL, how certain players react to being on the third line, to being on the fourth line. But of course, we do have some, we could easily go with like Dahlman up there, Kaigorodov up on the second line, stuff like that. It's a big make-or-break season. We really need guys, Velarde, Stenlund, Abramov, and Tarasov to really prove themselves this year. And Dahlman, for that matter, being a free agent signing. What will Ralph Jarrett and Jerry Girardi, Jesus. Ralph Jarrett and Jerry Girardi. Not easy to say back-to-back, at least for me. And then the AHL, if they can make the playoffs, that'd be sweet. If not, we're just hoping for some good progression. But guys, that is the team moving forward. And the question is it good enough? 95, 95, 92 for ratings. Are we good enough to repeat? And we will find that out beginning in the next episode. It's going to be a long journey through the regular season here as we approach season 6. But I look forward to seeing what this team can do. As always, if you have any suggestions on what we should attempt to do, let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, guys. So as always, feel free to support the channel by any way you deem necessary. And I will see you in the next one as the Nordiques start their quest to repeat.